Hello and welcome to Dream Team Coach TV. I am Sean Burke. Joining me is Andy Taylor, Jack Townsend, and the inglorious Grassherd himself, Graham Marshall. The fact that we're broadcasting from our individual homes gives you a hint that the whole global pandemic situation didn't resolve itself quite as quickly as we'd hoped. But that won't keep us from your timeline. Lads, how are you getting on? I'm literally sat on my bed.
Are you in Mars though? Is that?
Yeah, that's interesting background.
Sorry, I'm not on my bed. I'm actually in Mars.
So is that because it's getting away from the virus? Is it?
That's it.
That's
man.
serious social distancing. That is unbelievable.
I've chosen Stockley Park because there's literally never anyone there anyway. Making
Is that guy looking at you?
Yeah. Look. What the f*** are you? What are you doing here? Get a bit comfortable in my own home.
How are we all doing? How are we finding it?
Well, I've definitely put on weight. Have a look at my shorts, if you can.
Oh, you don't get this on normal coach.
Wow.
Wally,
Wow.
what have you done to yourself there?
Check that out.
4 tickets to the full moon party.
Oh. The mystery word game is still going.
Wow.
Still going.
How?
Despite everything that's going on.
Oh.
When everything else is gone, the mystery word game will still go. Oh, yeah, I wonder how the mind games will work now.
Even on
across
Mars.
the video call. But if you don't want to know what it is and you want to play along, look away
Where's it
now.
going to be? Where's it going to be on the screen, Josh?
I don't know. The fact that there's no football doesn't mean there's no drama, as Jack Grealish crashed his Range Rover on the way home from a party at roughly 4 a.m, hours after urging fans to stay in. Lucky for him, what a dummy is a phrase he's pretty used to hearing. So lads, you been to any all-night house parties lately?
Oh no.
Sure. What a freeze frame as well.
This is the beauty of doing coach from home. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you just
honest,
can't predict it.
Trim the fat.
The fact that there's no football doesn't mean there's no drama, as Jack Grealish crashed his Range Rover on the way home from a party at roughly 4 a.m, hours after urging fans to stay home. Lucky for him, what a dummy is a phrase he's pretty used to hearing. So lads, have you been to any all-night parties lately yourself?
Do you know
I
what?
I wasn't really going to him before, Sean, so not really changed my life all that much.
Oh,
I got a text off this lad, R. McCormack, and it was a bit of a weird one, but I left it.
Really?
Yeah, didn't answer that call.
What did he say? Come on out?
Yeah, it was just like big party around mine. To be fair, he was saying that they were abiding by the 2 metre rule, so everyone was kind of partying, but 2 metres apart. And
women tend to abide by the 2 metre rule when I'm on a night out generally. Anyway,
It's slightly more than 2 metres usually, isn't it?
Usually they just leave the room just to be absolutely sure. But what do you make of that? I mean, that is pretty bad on Jack Grealish's part. I think that's a pretty big... I mean, especially like hours after being like, stay home, protect the NHS.
It's just a real shame because Grealish, I've really enjoyed. I think I didn't like him probably 2 years ago, being from the Midlands, obviously Villa are not my favourite club, and just everything about him, I was like, he looks, I don't want to stereotype him, but he looks like the sort of player who's proper having himself, with his hairstyle and his flash style. But actually, he's come to the Premier League and he's absolutely ripped it up. Like, he does look like a top 6 player. And it's just a shame.
That with that sort of, he is a top 6 player potentially, but do you think with that comes surely a greater sense of responsibility? Like, you can't be seen doing stuff like that now. I know he's still 24, so he's still relatively young. Like, he's been on the scene for a long time. But people were talking about, England being a possibility. And that just raises the profile that much bit further. Like, you can't be seen doing this. I mean, I know, probably not the only footballer to do something like this in the coronavirus times, but there would have been other players there.
I just think in any other time, we could have let him off with it. But this is, I don't want to use the cliche word, but this time is unprecedented. Like, we might not ever see anything like this again in our lifetimes. And Grealish has still gone against this. And I think it just shows a bit of selfishness, really, because a lot of young people are just looking at it as, well, I can do it because I'm not going to get affected by it. But that's not the case. It's the ramifications of going out, touching stuff, passing it on to people that actually could be affected by it, and that's where the selfishness happens.
Yeah, it's irresponsible. Like the only way we get through this is if everyone joins in and stays to the precautions. So and he's so in the limelight, it's just even more unforgiving, really. But in terms of transfer wise, I know a lot of people are saying, this could ruin big transfer move. But surely someone like United now are thinking, right, we could knock off 20 million from this transfer fee. Surely, it's a deal there.
No, but football's not like that anymore, is it? He'll still go for the exact same money. I don't think he might get stripped to the captaincy, maybe, but I don't think he will. I think
England's the big one that will affect him. You can't see Southgate looking at that.
You wouldn't want a character like that, you'd think, being around the dressing room, because he's trying to create this vibe of this group of lads all in it together, no sort of big egos or anything. And whether he's been successful with that is another story. But Grealish has surely taken himself a little bit out of contention now.
It's above everything, isn't it? It's for instance, I just saw a video of that Spurs posted up, and Mourinho and coaches are at the Spurs ground, Spurs training ground. I know they're abiding by the 2-meter rule, but surely that's not a job that's urgent.
Essential.
You need to be in.
Yeah. Speaking of Spurs, Daniel Levy has been under fire this week, as it was announced that 550 non-playing Spurs staff will take a 20% pay cut for an indefinite period of time. Just a reminder, Levy was paid £7 million last year, £3 million of which was a bonus for completing the stadium. Spurs fans should be familiar with the scenario, though, considering Levy's wallet was on lockdown for years. So should all top footballers be taking pay cuts in this time? Should they be getting paid at all in this time?
Well, I think it was in Spain, Barcelona, all the players have agreed to take 70% wage cut, which is the right thing to do. You're not and that's still loads of money for them. That's still so much money.
I think there are clubs who won't be able to follow Barcelona's example. Right, there are absolutely clubs out there who their players can't take that pay cut, but Spurs are not one of them. Spurs are, are they 8th or something on that list of the richest clubs in the world? And you just think, I know a lot of that is projected based off of what was going to happen with the new stadium and things like that. But surely there's some cash floating around to pay some cleaners and some.
Are you embarrassed to be a Spurs fan?
I'm embarrassed by this decision. I'm not embarrassed to be a Spurs fan. That's a whole different argument.
Daniel Levy, whether you like it or not, is Tottenham at the moment.
He has been for so long. He's currently competing for sort of the most scummiest practices against only Mike Ashley, and so it does put us into a weird situation where, as much as I love a lot of the things he's done for the club, you can have two sides to that story. That I do think this is bad, and I do think it reflects badly on the club. The club are doing some really good things. They're doing this thing with the storing a lot of stuff for local food banks, and they're doing a lot of stay at home stuff for kids who are home now with their families, and that's really great. And a lot of clubs are doing that. But then to do that alongside a story like this, it's not a good look. And it's not good for a club that should be financially able to support its non-playing staff.
On the same day as announcing that, it got revealed that he'd been given a pay rise to take him to £7 million a year, and given himself a £3 million bonus.
So I think it was 4 million. His salary last year was 4 million, and he got a 3 million bonus for completing the stadium, which was not on time and was over budget. But apart from that, it was great. It was a great stadium. But don't
get me wrong, right?
Two key
great
metrics.
Now. But you are right to point out that it was over budget and late, and surely the right thing to do with that 3 million is to put at least some of it, the fact that none of it's going towards the staff who are taking pay cuts. Everyone's getting cut in some fashion in this, and it's wrong that football should be leading the way in some sense, because there's so much money involved.
we're going to have to talk about something else other than actual matches, because there is no football outside of Belarus. And trust me, as an Arsenal fan, you don't want to rely on Alexander Hleb. So we've decided to discuss our Ultimate 11. Each week we'll discuss our best choice for each position and maybe mention our worst just for a laugh. So we'll be starting with goalkeepers. And who's your picks between the sticks? Let's start with Andy. Who's your go-to goalkeeper?
Well, I think this is going to be difficult for every position because obviously what we're talking from 1992, right? Yeah, so we're just looking at Premier League years. I was looking at some stats. So Schmeichel has got the most Premier League titles. De Gea, I think, is alongside Nigel Martin for most Team of the Year appearances. So if we're just going off stats, those two are right up there. But also Petr Cech's got the most clean sheets.
Yeah.
So how do you gauge that? Because I think a lot of people these days say David De Gea, but
he's gone off the boil a bit, hasn't he?
Well, I mean, you can't base it. I mean, he has been ridiculously consistent. I don't think you can base. I'm sure Schmeichel had like a bad season, but I just think does De Gea stand out more because he's in a lot worse team than what Schmeichel was.
He's got a good. I like De Gea's style. Like, wasn't he into handball or something? Wasn't he a handball player? Because like the way he comes out the goal and he does the Schmeichel
spread,
Schmeichel spread.
Yeah,
that sounds like sex position. What are we doing? The Schmeichel spread.
Sally, are we doing that later? I think it's really. Do you know what? It's really hard as people like in our 20s to justify a pick because we don't comprehend quite how good people were in the 90s, you know?
Yeah.
But I've seen the back end of his career and I've seen so many people talk highly of him, and I think Schmeichel for me would be number one for me.
Yeah.
All right, Schmeichel. Okay, Jack, who do you think? Who's your pick?
Equally as tough. Like, it's... I don't know, like I kind of went down the route of, England heroes. It's not been many. Like, I just thought like Seaman. I know he had that kind of. Well, you know very well, friend of the show, Dave.
If you're watching, Dave.
Yeah.
And that you know what? I can't imagine there's many save There probably is save compilations out there, but no one's watching them.
Cool.
Are you watching Seaman compilations, Jack?
So yeah, Seaman.
Jack's going with Seaman.
Jack's gone Seaman.
Cool, Seaman.
Andy, you went with Andy. Who did you pick again?
Peter Schmeichel.
Peter Schmeichel.
So
all right, the Schmeichel.
I had the same sort of difficulties as the rest of the guys, and for that reason, I've gone slightly different. So I thought that we were all going to end up picking Schmeichel or Seaman. We only really got to see the tail end of their careers. Do you know what I mean? We didn't get to see. Nice, like it. So for that reason, I've gone in on Edwin van der Sar.
Good shout.
Edwin van der Sar. Okay, all right.
And it's going to be my pick. So like he set a record in the 2000-2009 season by not conceding a single goal for 1,311 minutes.
Wow,
which is quite a lot of minutes.
Did he have Rio Ferdinand and Vidic in front of him though?
I know what you're saying, right? But would you, by that token, say that a better goalkeeper would be someone like Mark Schwarzer? Like, was he a better goalkeeper because he was like Middlesbrough keeper and they were worse?
Well, we don't know. He could very well have been.
The other one that I just want to give an honourable mention to because I absolutely loved him was Brad Friedel, and I don't think he does get in as a top. Like, he's definitely not going to be number one, but he did have the most consecutive appearances for 310, and that was when he was still towards the end of his career. He's like the oldest player to have played for Villa and Spurs.
Yeah.
What an absolute legend Brad Friedel was.
Yeah.
What an absolute legend he was.
Did he win anything at Spurs?
He might have been there when it was 2008. I can't remember.
Well, sorry guys. Let's
So
my actual pick is Van der Sar. Yeah.
Schmeichel for Andy.
Yeah.
Seaman for Jack.
Sean, who are you going for?
I was going to say David Seaman before Jack.
So 2 votes for Seaman.
Well,
Yeah,
that might.
yeah.
Does that
So
mean
The
that?
seaman majority.
We just
So,
love
two,
Seaman.
yeah. So it's 2 United keepers and 2 Arsenal keepers, I guess, if you count Seaman twice. 2 votes. But
Well, that
we
means...
we can put it to an audience vote as well. And we'll
Yeah,
put a poll in this video, and the viewers
Or
can
in the
decide,
comments or something.
or in the comments. Yeah, they can decide who their choice out of our picks would be.
Premier League do a saves statistic.
Oh, do you really?
So who do you think's made the most saves in Premier League history? Oh,
wanna
actually,
say,
I think it only goes back to... What does it go back to?
So, like, I think it's 2003, maybe.
Okay. Well, okay, so let's imagine it's from 2003 onwards then.
Ooh.
Who's got the most saves in the Premier League?
It's going to be someone that's not at longevity, but not at a big club, because surely.
So they were taking a lot of shots. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brad
Like,
Friedel?
yeah.
Okay, so Brad Friedel is number 10.
What?
Oh, that shows you.
Wow.
He was really awful for a couple of years, but still somehow stayed up.
So I'll give you a rundown of the top 10, but I won't give you the top 3. So number 10 is Friedel. Number 9 is Fabianski. Then we've got Rob Green, Mark Schwarzer, De Gea, Jussi Jääskeläinen, and Joe Hart.
Ooh,
So
nice.
who's the top 3? But there's one he's a good 150 saves clear of number 2.
It's a tough one, that.
Heredia Gomez.
No, he's British.
Foster.
Yeah, Ben
Foster's
Foster.
a great shout. Yeah.
Yeah, most saves, well, on Premier League records.
There we go.
So, I mean, technically, are we saying he's the best keeper then?
Well, by that
Foster
metric, I
has the most
suppose,
saves. Any mentions quickly for worst goalkeeper?
Well, I mean, Gomez, I was going to...
Oh, yeah?
He cropped up. Like, Gomez at Spurs, particularly. I watched... not many keepers have a highlight reel, which is just all fails on the internet. I watched a 2-minute video of cups. There's no other way to put it. He just loves letting a ball underneath his body or making the save and parring it into his back of his net.
Yeah.
I don't know how he does it.
But you know what? I absolutely loved him. Thanks,
But,
guys.
yeah.
Yeah, just leave
Beautiful.
that. That's nice.
Yeah.
Look,
I think,
well,
again-
I mean, what's he doing?
No, I can't explain it. I'm sorry.
Where's the baller, LMO? All right.
Can I just
Okay.
give a notable mention to Gabor Karayev?
You've already
Do we
said
all-
him, yeah.
Do we all
With this-
do we all remember like what he used to look like and what he used to wear?
He's
Oh, the
very good.
trackies.
Yeah,
He
His
was a proper like
sweatpants.
homunculus type person, wasn't he? With his like joggers and like he was like, all
Right.
like, hunched over.
Very Sunday League.
Can I call that a homunculus?
Oh, that's
Yeah,
a good
he's got you
shout,
there.
Graz. I'd forgotten we were playing, but that's a great shout, Grace.
Is that right?
That's right. You're right,
Oh,
guys. It was
there we go.
homunculus. That was.
I mean, there's nothing I can do, is there? How am I getting that in?
Yeah.
We checking.
Last word.
I was just checking what that was, and like I just didn't feel right.
It's a bit harsh. It's a bit harsh on him, to be fair. Gabor Karayev.
Homunculus. Yeah, it's like a small creature, isn't it?
Right, and he's a goalkeeper, so he wouldn't be that
mythical.
small, I'd imagine.
I don't know. Yeah, you would hope.
I'd say he was small.
Average. Let's say average height.
I think maybe his jogging bottoms made him look a bit smaller.
Yeah. Okay.
No, he was
Right near the
6'3". He was 6'3". So,
All right, there we go. Really
All right
tiny.
then. Good chat, lads. Well, that's all from us, folks. Thank you for joining us on this first remote episode of Dream Team Coach TV. As always, look after yourself, and for the love of God, remain indoors. See you
Stay
next week.
Inside. Bye.
Bye.